Hi guys, welcome back to another video for Pixapro. My name's Richard Bradbury, a commercial and portrait photographer based out of Stockport in the northwest. And today we're going to look at how we use gels, or more accurately fit gels within softboxes, in particular the Pixapro Easy Open type, which are great for location work and many of us use. Now joining us today is Eris. I got it right again. Winner? Yes. Okay. So we're going to do some colour gel shots. I do have a couple of lights staged. We're just going to concentrate on the one first. Now, to fit gels, normally inside a softbox where we don't have the umbrella shaft that we'll see here with the Easy Open, it's pretty easy because you have the rods that make up the structure of the softbox. You just tape or peg the gel in there as one whole sheet. Now, because we've got these Easy Open, which are great for location work and they pack down really easy, we've got the umbrella shaft there, and that's how the mechanism works, in the way. So what I've had to do, and really the best way and the only way to do it, is just you have to kill your gels. You have to put a hole in, okay, puncture a hole in the gel, and then slot the umbrella shaft through, and then just tape it to the inside here. And we can see with this B-roll footage, that's what we've got here. You could, if you really wanted to make a hot mess of it, is just scrumple the gel up and cover the bulb. I don't really like gels touching the actual bulbs because eventually the bulbs or the bulb domes will heat up as your fire flashes. And typically with gels you may be using higher powers sometimes because they eat light. So I'd rather have it staged away. Now, the main thing to make sure is that we have full coverage of the bulb. So make sure we don't get any white light as best we can bleeding out of the sides. I mean, there's a little bit there, but we'll see what we get. But if you have this hung in front of the inner baffle of the softbox, it won't really cover it because it's not the shape for it, and it wouldn't cover the shape of the 150 or anything large. Then you'll see a little bit of the colour, but it will be washed out by that white, clean light. Now it's a look you can go for and use. But normally when people are going for gels, they want a nice deep saturated colour. So that's what we're going to focus on here. Now, rule of thumb is as well for exposure, I wouldn't work with getting a correct exposure for this. We want an ambulance going by, perfect timing. Anyway, I'll carry on. We want a good exposure so we can see the subject, but we want to maintain good saturation of the colour. Now, to do that, we need to tend to underexpose the shot a little bit. So the darker the exposure, either be that from in-camera settings or dimming or turning down the light, we get a deeper, richer colour. If we lift the exposure up or use a higher exposure, then we get less colour saturation. And we'll see that in some shots coming up. In fact, I've got some B-roll that shows that just by opening the aperture up on this clip. You see that blue go deeper and then go lighter, okay, as we lift the exposure. But let's grab some shots. So, from here, we'll throw the inner baffle. That's just going to be a thing now, that.
I can't help it, I don't know why I love it so much.
We'll put the inner baffle in, and then we'll put the outer diffuser on as well. I'm not going to go for any kind of grid on this. Okay, on this one here, and we'll just quickly Velcro this on. Okay, as best as we can do, hopefully cover any light leaks. I'll probably need to stretch this a little bit when fitting the panel. It's been on and off a lot all day. There we go. And we'll set this up. Now the light we're using is a CITI 600 Pro. Okay, and it's currently at 1/8 and half power. Okay, and we've got a background which is a hand-painted textured background. Okay, which is behind Eris there. It's a sample, so it's not quite that large. But I'm going to try and use a longer focal length just so I can get at least a half length shot, okay? And then we'll bring in the other light towards the end. So let's grab a couple of shots. So we've seen how the gel fits in just with gaff tape. You can also use pegs, clothes pegs, otherwise known as C47s. Don't know where they got that name, but let's see. So, are you ready for your close-up? Anyway, so let's see. So I'm going to go for a 3/4 length. Could you just take a little half step back towards the background for me there, please? Perfect, there we go. Now, at f8, I've opened up the aperture a bit from previously today. And let's see, I'm going to lower that background down a little bit because I'm going off the bottom. So, focal length will help you with this, longer focal length. But I've got a bit of wiggle room above the head, so I can bring this down a touch, just so I'm not fighting the bottom where the clips are. There we go. So let's grab a test shot. None of the video lights are going to influence this. We can see a black screen in Lightroom at the moment with Lightroom's wonderful habit of putting the controls in the middle when it wakes the camera up. We'll move those. There we go. And we'll grab a shot. So this is the blue gel with the 90cm Octa. Here we go. So let's see what we get. There we go. Cool. I am going a little bit off the background there. Pop that back on the tripod. But it's darker towards the bottom of the frame. And we can see if we come over to Lightroom, we get a nice wash of blue. Specular highlights come through, although they are diffused with that modifier. But we get a wash of blue. Now this could, I don't know, be used for moonlight in a way. Okay, I mean moonlight tends to be a little bit harder because like the sun is miles, millions of miles away. So yeah, a bit far, so it's a hard light source as a result. But using gels you can start to replicate a mood or feel. Now if you're using speed lights, that's a hard light source. You can use rubber bands and small gels, quality street wrappers, we talked about that before. Eat the chocolate, use the wrappers, that's great. With larger modifiers like this, you need a larger gel sheet. You could get oversized gel sheets and cut them down, so you make best use of them if you want to use multiple lights as well. We'll shoot a couple more with the blue, and then we're going to bring a light pink in, which will go well with the cool hair colour, I think. Okay, right, let's do it. So I'm going to shoot some. So we are at f8, and I would say that's a good enough exposure. Pretty much. I'm going to give it a little bit more. In fact, let me crank this a stop, just so we can see the difference, and we'll see the saturation levels dip as a result of that. So I'll grab the camera here. Again, going for a 3/4 length. I do like that background, but I want more of it. There we go. Okay, so we can see it's brighter. And it's a little less saturated if we go back one in Lightroom than previously, but it's a little brighter there. If we take it further, and that's not a bad exposure, I would say, the highlights on the skin pick up on the lips. We've still got a diffused highlight in the eyes there. Okay, cool, interesting shot. Sometimes having the exposure muted or backed off a little bit, I'll come back onto set, makes for a bit more drama. Again, exposure doesn't have to be correct, it can be a creative decision. What's the mood, what's the feel, what's the story and narrative that you're trying to go for? Not everything has to be lit on exposure or perfectly correct. So let's go a little bit in between, I think, for a shot. So let's knock it down half a stop and we'll go from there. Cool, nice, there we go. And if you do it, just look towards the camera for me on this one. There we go, beautiful, good look, good, love that pose, excellent, good, nice, cool, there we go, good. And who'd have thunk it, a word like baffle would make you crack up. There we go, we'll shoot some, there we go. Okay, right, so now, one thing to note, I'm a nightmare, I know. Did I get that, did I get that? Oh, that's cool, that's cool. The blue light shot, we'll come into Lightroom. Boom. Oh, look at that. I am a sod for doing that. There we go. Oh, there we go. It's a full-on laugh there. Sorry. Right, okay. Oh, I'm trying to embarrass you. One thing to note when you are gelling a light, because we're adding yet another sheet of not so much diffusion material, but a thick colour, potentially, you're going to eat light. So you need to drive your lights higher in exposure and power than you may think you do. But bear in mind, we don't want to desaturate that actual colour too much. So if I crank this now a lot, let's see now if we go back up and let's take it to half power, well, half and a half, nearly full power. It may be too much on just in general on exposure, but we'll see what we get. I'll behave now, I promise.
I don't believe you.
I believe you, thousands wouldn't. Oops. See, I'm out shooting my light. There we go, so we'll come back into Lightroom. There's a black frame. And we start to lose the blue channel. With digital, you You've got to be careful of your exposure. If you push it too far on red, green and blues, red is massively sensitive to that. You lose the channel. You start to see blown highlights where you can't recover the highlights on cheeks and such. So it's a bit too far. And again, we lose the saturation. If we take it back the other way now, what we'll see is that saturation will come back. So let's take it back down to a, what was it, 8.5? I forget. I'll go to 8.5 so it's a dramatic change, and we'll see. I think I was a little bit more than that before. Cool, nice, good, good. Boom, there we are. So I'm using a longer lens here for the sake of compression, and there we go. Much more saturated compared to what we had there. So you can go anywhere in between that you like on the exposure. I would say I want a little bit brighter than 1/8. So to do the last couple of shots, we're going to go up and probably to 1/4 plus 1/10, I reckon. Yeah, about there. And we're going to bring the other light in. So now, this is the one with a very light kind of, I don't know, pink, lilac kind of coloured gel.
I'd have gone for pink.
Yeah, something like that. And it's a strip box with a grid, and we've got the CITI 300 Pro on Group B. Your key light is still going to be that one. So we're going to have you kind of somewhat facing the way, so we'll edge you with this one here. Okay. So we should see a bit of an influence on the background if I move the stool out of the way. There we go. And we'll raise this up. And I figured I might as well actually shoot some frames whilst we're making this video, because the part where we show how to fit gels is pretty quick and simple. So let's give you something to take away image-wise, shall we? Okay. Right. So again, I like a nice kind of pose. I like, you know, with the hands just there, kind of just looking off one side, just
wistfully into the distance.
Wistfully into the distance, yep. Wondering, imagining, anyway.
Waiting for my husband to return from the wall.
Oh, there we go. That's it. Okay, yep, there we go. Right, and we'll see what we get. Now, Group B, I've got switched on, and that is on 1/8 power and 1/10. So I'll stop down from the other light in terms of power setting, but it's a 300 watt head, 600 watt head, so it's really 2 stops. So let's take a shot here. And that gel in the strip box, by the way, is fitted in the same way. Punch, oh yeah, see, I should really take it off motor drive. Let me see what we get. Oh, that's quite cool. I outshot the lights there, so we'll go again. Good, nice look, perfect, good, good. Good, now looking towards me, please. Here we go, cool, good look, good look. So a little bit more serious kind of a look. Here we go, good. Perfect, good, beautiful, good look. Nice, good, good. Winner, winner. Not at all baffled. Anyway, I had to do it, I had to do it.
Every time.
Lightroom's got to catch up now. Cool, there we go. And we get a edge light down the side there, which, you know, being 2 stops under, you may like that. You might want it a little bit higher. So looking at Lightroom there, not bad. Let me just flick through some of those. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to take it just a little bit brighter, but I quite like that muted. It goes kind of a deep pink to purple, and again, that's with it being a darker exposure. But let's lift the exposure on the CITI 300 with that gel, just to wrap up for a bit of fun. And this is purely because the GoPro ran out of battery, then it ran out of memory card, and I had to do this again. Oh, anyway, here we go. Totes professional, right. Good. Without changing the power, well done, Rick. So let me go up to 1/4 power. There we are. See what we get. Beautiful, good look. Nice, good, good. Awesome, good, beautiful. Good, good. You can come again, you.
So nice.
Excellent, good. Cool, okay. I'll let Lightroom catch up. I didn't bother looking at the tether then, because we were just having a bit of fun, just shooting a few frames. And we can see it's a much brighter light, which now, when we look at that, it starts to match the blue. I'll say maybe the pink's just a little bit brighter. Just there, just a touch. But that works. Okay, we look there in Lightroom. And we will go one more variation where we'll just take that down probably half a stop, okay? On the pink, we'll just shoot another set, and then we'll wrap up. So nice and simple, a little bit of gaff tape. By the way, folks, use real gaff tape when you're setting the gels up, please, because otherwise you may end up damaging the lining of your softboxes with duct tape. Good, good, nice. And an eyes to camera, cool, good. Nice, quite serious on this one. Here we go. Come on, what have you got? Bring it, bring it. Oh, just sorry, I'm a nightmare. Oh, there we go. Good, nice, nice. Last one. I totally lied. There we go. Okay, right, there we are. I am a nightmare. Right. We'll let Lightroom catch up. Go on, Lightroom. There she is. There we go. Wonderful. Great look. And we can see a little bit of a mix of the two lights against the background as it grades across. Textured background's working well. Okay. Cool, interesting look. Something simple to experiment with. If you've got speed lights, use some coloured sheets of paper from the craft store to begin with. You know, as long as you gel around the source of the light or the bulb, you are good to go. Just don't let any white light spill if you want to maintain deep colour and saturation, and just watch the exposure. So I want to say a huge thank you to Eris for coming in today. She's an absolute star. Been wonderful to talk to, wonderful to work with. I've enjoyed it. Been good.
You've been
okay.
all right.
Oh, thank you. Wow. But it's been good. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you'd like to see anything else done with gels, let me know. I'll pitch you to Pixapro. We'll see what we can do. And I've been Richard Bradbury. Thank you very much for watching. Yay! Done. Right. Oh, God.